right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ready, Set, Smart webinar series, where we're providing continuous opportunities highlighting how SMART can provide a fluid workflow that benefits teachers and students. We'll show you how to create lessons and activities focused on classroom instructional strategies. My name is Jennifer Underwood, and I'm a professional development specialist from Florida. Along with me to support you in the chat is Dan Shinneman, a training specialist in Florida. Together, we'll be answering your questions and sharing resources aligned to today's webinar. This week's webinar, Bridging Notebook to Lumio, Getting Students Active, features Terry Pelote and Melody Yu, training specialists from Pennsylvania. We encourage participation. If you have any questions, please ask those in the chat box during the presentation, and we will either integrate them into the flow or hold them to be answered at the end of our session during our Q&A period. We'll be sharing resources for today's webinar in the chat. Also, for participating today, you'll have the chance to earn a PD certificate after you've completed a brief survey. At this point, I'm going to turn things over to Terry and Melody so that we can dive into today's webinar, Bridging Notebook to Lumio, Getting Students Active.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. So
pleasure.
Melody, you want to start?
Absolutely. So thanks again, Jennifer and Dan, and thanks for all the support you'll be providing in the chat. So now you all know who we are, kind of where we're from, and we want to know where you're from as well. I know some of you guys did as you were entering the room, but if you haven't already, go ahead and take a moment and let us know in the chat. Where's everybody coming from? Got Memphis, Queens. I saw Trinidad earlier, Saudi Arabia.
Wow, a lot of different time zones.
Oh yeah, that's true. Up at all hours, we're global today. Welcome, Mexico, Minnesota, Canada, New Jersey, Virginia. So welcome everybody. We're so excited to have you here. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to join us. So here we're going to take a look at the things we're going to accomplish today. So we're going to learn how to begin with an existing notebook file, and then we're going to upload that file to Lumio, and any desired pages that you want. And we're also going to talk about how to add interactive elements. So we're really putting that focus on taking your existing notebook file and showing not only how to use it to present in the Lumio workspace, but also how to make it interactive for student devices so that you guys aren't recreating the wheel. You're just going to use what you already have.
And like Melody, I have probably a ton. So I've been using Notebook almost 20 years. I'm old. And I absolutely love it. But now when I've added Lumio on top of it, it gave me a lot of different options. So we'll kind of go through some of that today as we go through it. For those of you that are new to Notebook, Notebook is really the software that goes on your computer where you can create offline. It has a lot of power behind it. And it's one of the reasons that you'll see the four of us as part of the Notebook pillar for creating this stuff, because we all like the power behind the software that it has. But now that you can team it up with Lumio and bring it to life online on the kids' Chromebooks, that just gives us that much more features to kind of go with. So I can create with the software on any Windows or Mac laptop, and then I can push what I'm using into Lumio or upload it into Lumio, and then I can push different pages to the kids where I can be a small group workspace or a whole group workspace or an individual handout. That you've got lots of options then, and not every page do I have to let them touch. It just depends on some of them I want them to, some of them I don't. So we're going to kind of roll through a lesson as it was put together in pieces and then explain to you how we're uploading it, and then we're going to upload it. So let's actually start beginning with the lesson. So just a typical lesson that you'd have is I want some type of opener for my kids. So what do you think we're going to study today? I might remove one. A group might come up with some clues. I might remove another. Does anybody in the chat know what we're going to study today? Anybody?
I'm seeing Civil War.
We're there, guys. I do want to point out that all these features that we're showing you here are also ones that are going to work in Lumio once I upload it. So that will give you some different things, but you are getting right close. So then to show you, I'm going to grab my eraser because I have hidden stuff right in here. This is our objective. and that is that magic erase to reveal. We are going to study the Battle of Gettysburg. So if you were close with the Civil War, you are right on target with what we're going to study. So that would be like my normal opener with kids, trying to get them interactive in what we were doing, trying to say, well, why did you think it was the Civil War? Get them to kind of pick out pieces from the picture to kind of give us where we're headed today. And then my typical teacher standard talk. I just need a plain page so that, you know, when the administrators come in, I have my standards, I have my objectives so that everything is aligned. And then as I continue on down the lesson here, I've added a YouTube video. If I add videos inside of Notebook and I upload them into Lumio, they will still work, still play just the way it is. You can wait and upload them when you get to Lumio, but I tend to like adding them right here just because it gives me some other options. So this kind of the progression of my lesson. So now they've got some background information. So now I want them to actually do some type of graphic organizer to get their thoughts going. So I have this 5 cents diagram, which in the past, when I had just Notebook, they kind of filled it out. One person came up to the board and wrote down what people thought. But now I've got options, don't I, Melody?
Right. So now instead of, coming up one at a time to use the pen, if you upload this to Lumio, you can actually push it out a couple different ways, right? We could turn it into an individual handout where it's almost like a digital worksheet. It goes out to each of the students' devices, or you could turn it into a collaborative workspace for them to have, one page per group that you create.
Great. So that kind of gives me some ideas of some stuff that I've already used. Something else about this diagram, just so you know, in the resources that Jennifer was talking about, we now have a new notebook toolkit. And this is one of the templates that you can download from the toolkit to save into your notebook software that you can bring it in anytime you want. So there's several templates in there you'll be able to bring out, but this is one of them. So you don't have to recreate the wheel on all of them, but it gives you a good graphic organizer. And then each group is what I think I'm going to do right now. I'm going to make it a group thing. I'm going to put you into small groups and have you kind of fill this out together as a group.
Yeah, and Terry, I was just going to say too, I know ours right now says the Battle of Gettysburg, right? Because that's kind of what we built this lesson theme around. But again, this can be used for a variety of different topics, right? You might be using it for writing. Maybe they're doing personal narratives. Maybe it's a science experiment that they're using their observational skills to write about a science experiment you're doing, or weather observations. So you can really customize it to fit whatever your topic or grade level is.
Awesome. Great points, Melody. Great points. All right. So from there, now they've started to get into the battle thing. Now I really want them to dive in to learn about some of the people that are important during this time. So again, normally I would have them one at a time come up and grab their star and pull it to which one they're going to study. So that takes a lot of time. But Melody had a great idea that we're going to change this to a whole group workspace. So every kid just through their Chromebook will be able to grab a star and be able to put it on. And the beautiful part about Lumio is I can tell who grabbed what star and put it where. So this is just an infinite cloner. We've had infinite cloners in Notebook for a long time, but it will also work on the online version. But it will also give you that attribution on the online version so I know who put what where. And there's lots of other ways you can kind of use this type of activity for like a SEL check-in or some of those other things. Melody, what else was on that we talked about we could use this for?
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about using it for digital four corners. If you want to ask them about favorites, you could use it for voting. So if sometimes you're voting on class rewards, or maybe you're voting on an activity to do or problems to go over, making groups, jigsaw activities, right? This would be a great example of a way you could do a jigsaw is if you have, create the groups from one person from each corner there, the person that they're studying. And you could also use it to gauge student understanding. So maybe instead of those names, the question in the middle could be, how do you feel about what we learned today? And maybe, it says, I get it. I sort of get it. I need some help, or I don't get it at all. Right. So lots of different ways to use a page like this.
Correct. And it's easy to make anything, just drag a shape. And you can literally make it an infinite cloner. That's exactly what we did with the star that's in the center here. And now it's an infinite cloner ready to go. All right, so now they've picked who they're going to study. So now we have another graphic organizer, the who, what, when, where, why, how question mark that I want them to fill in. In this case, in the past, I would have had to hit print and print it out 30 copies times my 6 classes. So I'd have to have enough copies for everyone. But the beauty part of this is now when I upload it into Lumio, every kid, I can make it with a click of a button. Every kid gets their own. And we're going to demonstrate that so you get to see what it looks like on the other side. But this actually was built with just the basic tools of Notebook. So anybody that's new to Notebook, I would highly recommend that you go to the launching or launch learning notebook session, which will be on September 7th. And we'll show you some of those at the end when we log out. But it'll show you how to use some of these basic tools up here just to build things you want to use. And then if you go into some of the other sessions that we have into Notebook, it'll teach you how to save these particular ones, add it to your gallery. So now it's always part of my Notebook software. Those are some big key ideas to kind of take away with that. But let me keep going on. That's going to be our handout. All right, so I told you I've been using it for close to 20 years. Somewhere maybe about halfway through that, they added these great games. And I used to have to use the tools on the side. And if a kid had a device, then they could log on and actually play the game. But now it just becomes part of my whole deck. So once they logged into my classroom, they get to go from page to page if I allow it, or I can literally push page to page. They have to go to page. But this is literally one of the matching activities where we're trying to match either a picture or some words as it goes in here with one of the other statements over here. And you'll notice sometimes, especially when you hit secondary, your phrases are a little bit longer or your writing is a little bit longer. You can also stick stuff in as pictures. So anything that has these blue boxes, we put in as a picture so that you could make a little larger. Obviously, I can tell who that is. We're pretty good with Abe Lincoln now, but I can't tell what that writing is. But if I click on it, I can get larger. That also works the same in Lumio. So the kids will be able to do the same thing in their Chromebook. What I absolutely love is the last piece here, because it's about the timeline. Do they understand the events of that day and why it was so big? So this is simply created in Notebook. And if you'll take a look, that looks like it's locked, which means it can't move. But look, it can move. This is one of the features that I absolutely love inside a Notebook, is that you have the ability to what we call lock and allow to move, which all the things that are on this list here, lock and allow vertical, horizontal, they all work inside of Lumio. So if I make it in Notebook and say lock and allow to move, the kids will be able to move these pieces. They won't be able to delete them. Okay, which is kind of big. They also can't resize them because some of the kids will play around and make stuff larger, bigger, or smaller on you. They can't resize them either. So that lock allow to move is big. I don't remember, were we going to make this a small group workspace or collaborative workspace?
I think this one was just to demonstrate that lock and the grouping as well, and kind of how, you've got that red little dot there, that's lock, allow move horizontal. So you'll notice, it only moves horizontally, and that will follow over into Lumio as well, which is awesome. And you could do this as, the small group or the whole group. I think probably there are so many components, perhaps it would work best as a small group for this particular assignment.
Awesome. All right, so we've just kind of described for you briefly how we what we created the first time and how we're going to make it a little different as we upload it into Lumio. This session really is about bridging them, making it more engaging for the kids. If you want to hit any of the other Notebook sessions, there'll be the how to build these kind of activities to kind of get you going. But now let's build it in Lumio so that you get the idea of how this all works. So for me, I went to lum.io. Okay, it will take you to this particular site right here. Again, lum.io. That's if you have a teacher account. So don't worry yet. And all I'm going to do is add my activity. And I'm going to upload that resource. Okay. Also new just within the last 24 hours here is you'll be able to see some important previews and kind of how to use it, when to use it kind of stuff. So just note that those are there, but I'm going to click on this and it is sitting on my desktop. So I'm going to go to local storage. If you are a Google district, you can attach it to your Google Drive, but I'm going to open it from my desktop and I'm just going to bring in that notebook file. Now it's going to load. And just like the baking shows, I've already loaded one. So I'm going to show you what this looks like when I bring it in. So when you bring anything in, you get the option of whether you want to bring in just one page or all the pages. So in this case, I didn't bring in the beginning pages. I just brought in some of the lesson pages because we wanted to start from there. So the same thing, what do we want to study today? Oh, wait, I didn't have them join, Jennifer. Let me have them join. So if you will all join my class, if you will open a new tab and go to hellosmart.com, you can certainly join as a guest and then join my class. And I am sure somebody has put that number 953982 in the chat, so we're good to go there. And I can see that you're going to start to enter. And it's okay if you don't enter. I am going to shrink down my screen a little bit. And through the magic of television, I am going to bring up a different copy of it. So the right-hand side is my student side, and the left-hand side is going to be my teacher side. So if you don't want to join, you don't have to, but I want to give you both views if you need to see it. I can see I have 12 students in, 14, 15, great. They're all joining. You want to be a part of this. That's awesome.
Going up and up.
Beautiful. Okay, as you guys keep joining, if you have issues, ask Dan or Jennifer in the chat. I'm going to close this so that I can start talking about the screen itself. But you will notice on the teacher side that I have some tools over here that I do not have on the kid side, because right now this is just a page for me. So you'll notice if I move this, okay, it's going to move on the student side too. So if the kids are remote, you can also use this, talk the same way, it will move the same way. However, what I want to do right now is I want to make it a handout for you all, just to give you an idea of what a handout can do. So on the fly, all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the people's heads as you're joining. I'm going to convert it to a handout right away, which means every person gets their own. So on your side right now, you will see the word start. And as long as you click start, your name will appear over here on my left-hand side, but on your side, you'll actually get your own copy of this. So just so that you get the feel of what a handout can do, what I'd like you to do is try to make sure you can move some of those tiles so that you understand where the move is. Then I also would like you to grab that eraser and try to erase that spot where my objective is hiding somewhere, just so that you get the idea of how to erase. And while you're doing that, I'm going to peek into some people's papers. Great. Lee's got the whole thing there. Oh, and he also figured out how to move the writing, or if you grab the eraser, Lee, you can erase. There you go. I'm going to go and look at another person's one. All right, we're at Lynn. Oh, Lynn's got it all off already. She's good. Now, this typically would not be a page that I would have made a handout. This typically, but I wanted you to get the idea of what a handout is before we get into the nitty gritty of some of this stuff. So literally, you have tools on the left-hand side. If I make it a collaborative workspace or a handout, you have the finger tool, which allows you to move stuff. You have the pen or highlighter tool. So if I am on Lynn's paper right now, Lynn, I'm going to just take over for a minute. I am going to highlight, maybe make it a little bit thicker over here. So we're going to look at the significant causes of the Gettysburg, or the Battle of Gettysburg, not just little ones. We're going to look at the significant things as they do it. We're going to look at key figures. We're going to look at events. So only Lynn sees this right now because I'm on Lynn's paper. That's why I said I probably would have done this whole group and highlighted for everyone the pieces that I wanted to. But I want you to know that there's a pen tool and a highlighter over there. A lot of you figured out that that is the eraser over there. And then this will let you add pictures, add images, and then this is the text tool. So if I need to ask you to write, which I will, you will be able to write using that A tool. You simply click on it, and click. Now, Lynn knows, because I am on her paper, that it's just her and I that get to see this paper. Okay. So therefore, it's only if she didn't add it, I added it. But in the collaborative workspace, I'm going to show you where that attribution comes in when more people can hit the papers. Then you'll be able to see who attributed that to the page. What I do want to show you on the teacher side, thank you, Lynn. What I do want to show you on the teacher side is that I see everybody's papers right here, and I can click in any one person and say, well, Sharon, you got it all. Great job. You even nicely lined them all up. So anything you're asking them to do, you can zoom in and see it. I do want to point out one more thing that we have four people that have the green checks now. In the top right-hand corner, there is a done button. So literally, if the kid clicks done on the teacher side, it makes that green check. So it's kind of like your indication that it's ready to be graded. But you saw that I could grade them all anyway, so I can see them as they're going. That's just the kid telling you, okay, now I'm ready for you to grade it. So you can show them how that done works.
What I like too, Terry, is because, you know, let's say they got something incorrect and you want them to go back, right? The done button, if you look over on Terry's student side, it changed to an edit. So, you know, if you make any marking, students can still go back and, you know, double check that or change their answer.
All right, let's get into the lesson then. On the teacher side, there is a page sorter right now, so I can see all my pages if I need to jump from one to the other. Like, I know I don't need to show you guys the objective. You guys all write them every day. We're good there. Let me click you right over to the YouTube video. You will notice the student has the play button and the teacher has the play button. If I do this in a live class with kids in front of me, I'm just going to play it by myself. But if I have it and I sign it for kids for homework, it's already embedded in there and they can play it at their own rate. So if you guys all hit play right now and just listen to the first 10 seconds. You'll see you can put it in for centers or small group work. If they need to have some more information, they can go back and keep replaying what they need to play. Or like I said, if they're absent that day and you're giving them the assignment, you can give them the asynchronous link and they can go through this file as they need to. And that would be one of the things that you can do.
And Terry, what about those pesky YouTube commercials?
Ah, there is none. That's the beauty part. Notice when you put in a YouTube in here, even in my notebook page, if I made it small, it's going to take over a whole page in here because it gets rid of all those commercials and those other pieces that we really annoys us. So it really focuses them in the video that we want. All right, let's get into the fun piece. All right, normally I would arrange you all by the desk where you are in my room, but since you're physically all over the world, we're going to just randomly do this. So I have 35 people in there, so this is great. This will work. I am going to click on the people's heads. That gives me the choices of what options I have on the fly. I'm going to make it a collaborative workspace. You'll notice I get to break you into however many teams I want to break you into. I'm going to break you into 9 teams. It's going to randomly put you in. If I want to, and if I know people don't get along or I need to do something else, I can always move people around before I hit start. But people have to be logged in to be able to get in for these activities. Okay, so any collaborative workspace, I'm going to reset it because I saw a couple people just come in. So let me reset this activity, and I'm going to do it one more time because I just saw people come in. Let me pick 9 again, and then I'll see you all go in, and I'm going to hit start. So anybody else that flies in right now, you will not be part of this assignment, but you can always watch my student video side because you have to be logged in when it's there. So I can see on my student side over here that I have the ability, because I have tools. So what do I think? And this is for all of us to fill in. So it depends on which group you're in. This is team 8. So let me also pull up team 8 over here. Okay. So this is also part of this. So let's, oops, let me go there. All right. So I'm going to come over here as my student side, and I'm going to type something in. I see guns. I see flags. Now, everybody in my group right now is seeing that I put that in.
Yeah,
Gonna have everybody put something in.
Somebody put, is that smoke? I smell smoke.
I smell smoke. I like that. All right, and I can take a look at every team. See a Confederate flag. Oh, let's take a look at who put that. They got very specific. Oh, is that Riley? Riley put that in. Perfect. All right, I'm going to look at some other teams, see what else people put in. And this is that attribution that I was talking about. Oh, somebody is getting creative. Look, they're putting in pictures. Awesome. All right, let's take a look. Paula, great job, Paula. Okay, this is that attribution that I was talking about. So I know who in what group is putting what in by just taking a look at the attribution in here and seeing what people are putting in. Okay, I can go from team to team. Okay, if you haven't seen how to put in a picture, you simply click on the tool that looks like a mountain with a plus sign on the left-hand side. Let me do it as a student. So let's click here. I'm going to search for a battle. Just kind of see what comes up. Oh, I get some lots of things. Oh, I could put a horse. Where's that smell one? I taste, I feel. It's over here. Hold on. I smell the horses. And I can put something in as my student side there. Okay, so you do get some options, guys, as we go along to be able to do the different things and see who's putting what in. So this is part of the toolkits. We'll give you this when we go. You'll get the different ideas that you can use with this specific graphic organizer for. But this is also a collaborative workspace. So I made it so that you could work together in teams. It would be nice if you could be talking while you did it, but obviously that's a little bit hard when you're all over the world. Jennifer, were there any questions that came in on this, or are we good to go so far?
We're good to go. The questions that did come in, we've just been answering as we go. A couple about audio on the student side, and just lots of great comments.
And I didn't add audio because I just added it in, but oh my gosh, the audio is the best thing. So watch on my screen for a minute because I'm going to go into edit mode for you. All right, so I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to edit this lesson. And notice it's pauses for you guys, but don't click out of that yet. It'll come right back. But I can add audio to every single page. I simply click here and start recording. Great. As a group, I'd like you to add something to my 5 cents diagram about the Battle of Gettysburg. Make sure you all agree. I'm going to hit pause and I'm just going to add that to my slide. Now you'll notice I have that speech bubble up here. Okay. It is finishing rendering. So as soon as it finishes rendering, it'll say save, just like any some of the Google Docs, some of the Microsoft Docs. I'm going to hit finish editing, and then it will pop back up right on the student side over here. And you notice now I have directions. So you on your student side will have those same directions. As a group, I don't need to hear myself again. Sorry, guys, but you can actually hear yourself then again. So you can easily add 5 minutes to audio to every single page. So I need to bring it up into Lumio, but you saw how easy that was to add pages. And especially if you're going to do something asynchronously, meaning you're going to give it to the kids who aren't there or during centers, group work, whatever you want to call it, then those audio directions are key for some of those kids. That was a great question or a great thought, whoever had that. Keep asking more because there's more in here. All right. Here is that one that I'm going to ask you all to pull the star to a leader. So I'm going to right now just change it into a collaborative workspace. And instead of breaking you into teams, I'm going to put everyone on one team. All right. I am getting a pop-up, just so you know, that says, hey, everybody in here is not signed in, so their work is not going to be saved. And that's okay because I had you all come in as a guest. But you're going to want your kids to log in, because then if they start something now and finish it later, it will all be saved for them under their account. So they can come back in, click on the link, and then continue on wherever they were. This is the star. I see we have a lot that want to know about Robert E. Lee. Oh, good. We're trying to get some more people, different places. I do want to commend these people over here because not very many people probably know about George Meade, but Sharon, thank you very much for picking that out. And I can see exactly whose stars are where by that attribution of where they pulled to. Okay, so this was kind of like the activity that Melody was saying, where you do 4 corners, you get enough people in all the in all the corners, they can all learn about somebody, and then they can cross. So usually I had my desk in 4s. I would ask somebody and everybody in the group to pick one spot. So when they came back together, then they'd have the full quorum of what they were trying to study. Melody, did I forget anything on this slide?
No, I think you got it all.
All right. All right, so here is that graphic organizer that I was talking about for you. So now you've all picked your topic. Okay, I'm not going to make you fill it in for everybody, but maybe you'll remember who your who person was, and you could at least fill the name in. So I'm going to now just put this right now. Remember, I do not need to go to that copy machine anymore. I just click on handout. Boom, you all have a copy. No longer do I have to copy all these for every kid. And I just have to log into my Lumio account, and all of my papers are right there under this account. It's a lovely thing. So when you get in, you'll automatically get your own copy, and you're just going to grab your text tool and type in who you think it is, who your guy is that you're going to study.
And Terry, I love what you said about, not having to be at the copier. So not only are you, saving paper, but also we all have those like giant teacher bags that go from home to the building, from home to the building. And sometimes the papers come out, but sometimes they don't. But now they're just all living in that Lumio lesson. So you wouldn't need to carry them back and forth.
Correct. That is a big plus. And I am dating myself now, but I used to have the purple ditto machine that you had to crank. It wasn't even hooked into electricity. And you had to go home smelling, and you had purple all over your hands because you were working with those purple dittos. So this is perfect. I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to find nail polish remover to get rid of the purple that's all over my hands. Some of you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but trust me, it was all part of our education. All right.
Like Waylon did.
And as we're figuring this out, they can move their text wherever they want to. They can enlarge it if they want to. If they're a person that needs to highlight and go over stuff, they can do it that way. There's lots of ways to be able to use the tools that are here. And again, I see some of you have already clicked done, so you finished your assignment. That is perfect. And now I get to see everybody's work. So I'm just going to go in and see what Bree did this time. Great. She did exactly what I asked her to do, which was ask her to put in the name, and she's actually starting to do more. And as soon as I put that mark on the paper, almost instantly, Bree will see it on her side. Okay, just to give you an idea of how quick this is, it's pretty much instantaneous of what a kid did. Oh, look, Connie did it too. Great. She's already filling stuff in. So whatever you put in here, you can use. And this was a graphic organizer that I made inside of Notebook. However, you could have easily had a PDF graphic organizer that you really like to use and bring it into Lumio also. So just like I'm going to do before, I'm going to hold you up here for a minute. I'm going to click over here and go into edit this lesson. So when I'm in this plus sign down here, I can easily add stuff on the fly. So there is some graphic organizers already there. You can use any of the graphic organizers that are already here. Like maybe we're starting to talk about a word and the kids don't understand what it is. So we can easily add in a Frayer model if we want to. Boom, the Frayer model's in there. It's ready to go. I can make it into a handout from here if I want to, or do it on the fly, just like I was doing before. But you also have the ability to add stuff to this file. So remember, I uploaded Notebook. I can also import more things. I can import anything from Google. I can import stuff from Microsoft. I can import PDFs, and I can import notebook files. So if I have a PDF of the graphic organizer I like, and I know where it's located, whether it's on my device or it's in the cloud, I simply click on it. I navigate to wherever it is. Boom, they can put it in. And that's as easy as it is to get content in. Okay. Now, most of that I would have done ahead of time, but I'm going to show you some stuff you can do on the fly too as we go along through this. But now you see I have my graphic organizer. Boom, I'm ready to go for the kids. All right, so graphic organizers are easy to add, whether you start from Notebook or start from any other place. Now let's take a look at that game, because that's the fun part. All right, so now the games are individual assessments. It's really for the kid to learn what they know, what they need to keep working on. So on your side, you will see the start. This is individual. You're starting it all by yourself. So you're going to be able to pick which ones you think go together. And I am not going to kid you. Melody made this particular slide. So I'm now looking and trying to figure out, let's see. Lincoln, I think, was the 16th president. Oh, we'll keep on going. I'm just going to start picking stuff right now, and it's not going to be right, but you're going to get the idea. Oh, they didn't go together. I should stick with the ones I knew. Oh, I got very lucky on that one. But you'll see, you'll get choice on these games of whether you want them to check immediately or check at the end or not check at all. So some of these games can be very engaging to the kids in practicing what they learned. And again, you can make them in Notebook and bring them in, or you can bring or add them in Lumio as you go. But it really gets that involvement of the kids, that self-learning of what they need to still study some more. I obviously need to study these guys a lot more because I don't know much about this at all.
Yeah, and Terry, this one I just wanted to mention too. So, the background is customized based on the content they're learning, right? So If you're not teaching about the Battle of Gettysburg, some other topics you might do, if you're teaching the young ones, like upper and lowercase letters or number sentences and the answer that matches. But there are, ways to choose a different picture if you're not always going to use that same background picture, or there are also existing themes that you can choose for the games as well.
She is correct. So you probably have seen, if you've been around Smart at all, that they have those monster type themes kind of things that go on. There's a science theme, but now in most of the things, they allow you to customize that background just to give it that much more thought process for the kids of what they're working on. That's great. I actually like the background on that one. It's a pretty background.
Yeah. And then the only other thing is just, as a primary school teacher, I spend a lot of time laminating and cutting out matching cards and prepping all this work. And don't get me wrong, those things still have a place in our classrooms. But if you're really stretched for time and you just want to throw together a quick game, Smart, Notebook or Lumio is a great way to just throw it up and put it together.
I don't know how many times, even as a high school math teacher, I had to cut things because I wanted them to match. Now this makes it a little bit easier. Just those days of carrying scissors in your bag because you always had stuff to cut, I don't need to do it as much. All right. And the last one I want to point out to you is literally that the horizontal lock that we talked about, it's locked. Oh, wait, you can't do anything, can you? No, because you guys haven't done anything. It's still just a page. But on my side now, if I move it, you'll notice it's going to move for everyone then. Okay, if I move one of these, let's see, the union emerges victoriously. I'm betting that's the end, but I don't know off the top of my head. I can move it to the end here. Okay, and it's going to move for everybody because I haven't given you any thought yet. But you'll notice over here on the left-hand side, there is that reset button. It's going to put everything back. So now I've explained to the kids how they can use this page. And so now I'm going to very easily then make it into a collaborative workspace for you all. Again, going to split you into teams. Again, I can move you into teams if I need to, but I'm just going to let you fly wherever it is. And I'm going to hit start for the workspace. And you will all see on your side which team you're on. I'm on team 3 this time. All right. And now we as a team have to decide where these pieces go. So in team 3 over here, Danny, you're one of them. And I didn't see who the other one was. Can you move a piece around so they can all see it, that it's not me moving a piece around?
Right. And ideally, you'd probably be at the same table discussing this with your group and saying, hey, where do you think this goes? Oh, Terry, I think it goes over here. So, like Terry said, right now you're all over the world, so we're not able to do that. But you would have that discussion with your group, and your students would as well, as you're moving stuff around.
Yeah, so we studied. Obviously, we skipped some steps in between here because we couldn't do the whole Gettysburg battle in a 45-minute time frame. But you get the idea of some of the activities that you might do. And thank you for whoever moved that. Literally, notice I cannot delete these off the page. There is no delete, there's no nothing because I locked and allowed to move. So nobody will be able to delete. We're up here. Okay, same thing, lock and allow to move, so they can't be deleted. So they're just going to put stuff where they think it happened, and then we'll come back and talk about it later. Okay, so I just want to show you everything that you create in Notebook. For almost 95% of it translates very well into the online space, and then you can give kids access to whichever pages you want them to have access to, but you don't have to give them access to all. It's one of the beauty things I love about this product is the fact that I can give them access and not give them access. So what I'm going to do right now is, we were in teacher pacing the whole time. I am going to, on the fly, move you into student pacing because I want you to be able to see what happens. Oh, now it says I can go to any page I want to. So if I need to go back to that YouTube video, you'll all notice on your side, you have the ability now to go back to that YouTube video and watch that YouTube video if you need it. Okay. Oh, let me go back to my group now. Hey group, let's go back and let's come back here and think about this because of what we just saw on that page. Or you might have one person pull up the video and leave one person on this because now you've given them access to be able to go to whatever slide they'd like to be able to. What I really love about going from teacher pacing to student pacing is, oh my gosh, I'm just like now, I'm getting to the end of our time together. So if I need you all to be in one spot, All I'm going to do is get to the slide I want you to all be on, and I'm going to put you all on the Frayer model just for now. All I'm going to do right now is slide you all into teacher pacing. Boop, it automatically brings you right to where I need you. So I have that ability to let them go and bring them back in. Let them go and bring them back in. And let's say we didn't finish because we haven't finished. I also have that ability right here to share. In my learning management system, I just hit copy of this, and the kids can continue their work outside of class or tomorrow with this asynchronous link. So when I give them this link, they can work asynchronously on whatever they need. Or I could have them join Hello Smart and be very synchronous, very teacher-led when I'm leading the charge. So you have different options here. Okay, now on the fly, I want to be able to add stuff, and I can. As a math teacher, it's really important to me, but this wasn't a math lesson, to just be able to add a whiteboard, because you know how everybody's always asking you different questions. So you can easily put one in on the fly. Okay, and everybody can see it, everybody could work on it, you could do whatever you want, but you also have the ability on the fly to add some other stuff. Like I'm going to add a shout it out right now. And in the shout it out, I really want to know is, what is one takeaway you got from this lesson? So this is live right now. So you'll see a white box and the ability to send stuff to me. So I'm going to ask you in that white box, what is one takeaway you got from today's lesson?
And I love these shouted outs, Terry, because, you know, you can see all those responses start to pop up. Students can contribute. Let's see.
And it's like the old days where you gave everybody a sticky note and you asked them to come put stuff on.
Yep.
I can now start grouping these. Lumio allows you to save paper. Yes, it does. Adding a whiteboard is easy. I didn't know that you can lock objects in Notebook. Oh my gosh, yes, you can lock them in a whole bunch of different ways. I love locking. Notebook is easy to upload. You'll see the idea. Loom.io was new to somebody. Great. How to use Notebook. There is more sessions on how to use Notebook. And I am going to tell you right now that if I was really in front of the classroom, I would literally just click on one of these to make it large for everybody. And then we can just kind of go through them as a group. I have left attributions on, which means I can tell who did what just by their first three letters of their name. Okay. I'm a high school teacher. I like to know who did what, but you also can turn that off if you don't want to. But you get to see all the different ideas you hit. All right. So that was really about taking my file and bringing it into Lumio. So there's lots of other sessions coming up. Some of them are just Notebook. They're going to show you how to do some of those things in Notebook, because somebody just asked me over here about locking. Literally, if I take anything, let me just put in again the word hello. Okay, that drop down menu there, you can do amazing things from inside of there. But one of them is lock, allow to lock in place, vertical move, horizontal move, lock, allow, move and rotate. So we'll go through a lot of these in some of the other basic sessions, and then we'll have some more hidden gems, because if you haven't used Notebook in the past, in the hidden gems session, there's a ton of stuff that's hidden in here that you may not even be aware of. So if I start taking a look inside the gallery, there's lots of pages that are already created that you can use right away with your kids. So that's in the hidden gems session. So just so you know, there's more coming up. There's also more Lumio sessions coming up. So if you're interested in Lumio, then that might be a good time to look a little bit more into Lumio, because we have just scratched the surface of what Lumio can do. So what I want you to do is, if you're logged in with me, great. We're going to take a look at what the resources are that will be on your slide. If you are not logged in, Jennifer or Dan will put in the resource slide or the resource bit.ly for you so that you can get there. But I want you to click on it so that you see all the resources, and I'm going to just come over here and just show you all what's here, just so you're aware. If you're interested in any of the other ones that are coming up, this will have the Ready, Set, Smart webinars that are coming forward for you. So if you'll click on this button, it will take you to the Ready, Set webinars, and you can see what's coming next. And they're going to start preloading stuff. Like there it is right now. There's the launching into Smart Notebook. So if you've never used Smart Notebook, this is going to be about the basics of what Notebook can do for you. So you might want to save your spot for that one. Some of the other stuff on that resource page is the Notebook Toolkit. I talked a little bit about this when we were talking about the 5 senses, but this is a toolkit that is made just for notebook users. So if you take a look at it, I went to engaging student learners. There is that 5 senses diagram, and it will take me to the ability to download a copy of that in Notebook if you're a Notebook user, or you can save it to Lumio and have that same version already made in Lumio. So it just depends on what you would prefer. But I would highly recommend that you take a look at that Notebook toolkit, because there is a ton of stuff already inside of here. There's ways to activate prior knowledge, engage students, talk about reinforced learning, or check for understanding. And all of them have the exact same thing, where they have ideas for you, and then it will take you to a file that you can download as a notebook, or you can use it as a Lumio file. So you have lots of options in there. I just want you to be aware of that. The last one I definitely want to point out to you is the Ambassador Program. If you'll click on the Ambassador Program one, this will allow you to apply to be a Smart Ambassador. And you might say, why would I want to do that? Well, if you take a look at the whys in here, for me, especially for this group, after I heard where you're all from, to participate in global collaboration. People post stuff in our ambassador page every day, and they'll be asking about, hey, how could I do this? Or, hey, did you guys ever see this? So you get lots of cool ideas, and you can ask questions to the group, and you get answers from all over the world. Some of the other stuff is just access to smart training. So there is lots of whys to become a smart ambassador. This is easy. It's not meant to be hard. So you're already here. So chances are you've already done step 1. You're excited. Step 2 is really to apply. And the apply is pretty easy. It's about giving your name. The biggest thing you have to do is you have to be able to put in your file of what you think you've done. So down here where it says submit a smart lesson that demonstrates how you use Smart Notebook, or SLSO, which is Lumio, by the way. We have changed names. But how do you just click? So my notebook file today, if I wanted to be an ambassador, I am simply coming over to my ambassador or my notebook file. I'm going to go to share. I'm going to grab that share link when it pops up and be able to just post it right into that file. And then the people on the other end will have my file. So any files you already have will work perfectly for that. And then you'll just post that in here, and then you'll become an ambassador. So it's a really easy program, and you're then part of a much more global experience, and be able to give ideas, get ideas. So it's a great place for sharing. Finally, there's 2 other guides here. So these are all about Notebook, and we will probably direct you into these a lot more in some of the other ones. But if you're looking at the Notebook guide for teachers, this is really a very thorough guide, like how to create a game, how to do an infinite cloner. So those are all parts of this. And then this is our step-by-step guides. If you haven't been part of this before, there is a guide just on Notebook. There is a guide on IQ if you have the new panels, or if you have Lumio. So you can learn in each one of these. I'm just going to click on Notebook for now. And there is like step-by-step how to add image, how to add text. So it gives you some feedback as we kind of go along there to kind of give you some ideas. All right, so those are our resources. Melody, did I forget anything in the resource section?
No, I don't think so. I think just, highlighting those step-by-steps, but underneath there are those little icons that link you to different videos too. So, if you're somebody who is visual and auditory, you can click on the videos to watch.
Great. All right, so I challenge you, if you already have a notebook file, to upload it into Lumio, see what happens, see what moves, see what works, see how you can do different things. Then try to convert it to a handout or a workspace, just so that you know, handouts individual. Workspaces can be whole group workspaces, or you can make them small group collaborative workspaces, so you get an idea. And then once you've done that, see if you can add a shout out or a game or a YouTube, or I showed you some of those ready-made activities that are already there. See what you can add to make it more active for the kids, because there's tons of stuff that's in there.